Good morning, beautiful souls. It is Elizabeth Bratcher with your daily feed for the 11th of May. I hope that you are all well. It is a beautiful day outside. So how this works, guys, is I'm going to pull 3 cards. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. And all you need to do is take a breath, see which area you're focused. Some people do choose more than one number, and that is totally okay. So thank you so far to everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, I would love for you to join me each day. But let's get started for today. All right, so card number 1. Card number 2. And who's going to be number 3? This could be. All right, and there's number 3. So just take a moment, guys, to focus. See where you're drawn. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Pop number 3, number 2 up. And let's see what number 1 has to say. Intuition. Okay. Opportunity. Excellent. Okay, so what the cards are telling you today is all about trust. Trusting that gut instinct, trusting our intuition, trusting ourselves, trusting our senses, because there's an opportunity waiting to develop. Okay, and so when I sit with these cards here, what they're very clearly saying is that if you take a moment to tune in, to listen to yourself, that you're going to receive an opportunity to develop, an opportunity for growth. Now, again, as we always say, these are general reads, so I like to keep it nice and broad. And so when we talk about opportunities to develop, you know, we can be thinking about things that are financial and monetary, but also personal as well. And I do feel today that there's a very mixed energy between both of those. So perhaps you're waiting to bring in new work, or you're wanting to work a little bit on self and not quite sure how to manage that. And so the card's telling you take a moment to sit with your own intuition, follow your gut instinct. And even if you're not 100% sure, even if you can't see the end of it, but you've got that intuition, that gut feeling, that knowledge on how to take the first step, just do that, because the first step will always take you to that point where you say, no, I'm in the wrong direction, or yes, this is working. And if you're in the wrong direction, then the next step that you need to take will become apparent. So don't expect to have all the answers. Just understand that it's time to take those first couple of steps. So confronting fears. When we sit with our intuition, okay, and our gut feelings, take the time as well to be honest with yourself, because at the end of the day, the only person that you need to be honest to is you in this regard. And be honest with the fears that you have. Be honest with fears of failure, with, humiliation, which is a silly one, but it does come up a lot, because if we fall on our face, we feel humiliated. Taking control of fears that we can't do it, that we're not good enough, all of those kind of little bits and pieces. Just really take a moment to be honest with yourself. Because once you've addressed those fears with yourself, you can then also start to predict your self-sabotaging behaviours and triggers and all of those kind of little bits and pieces, which are very fundamental for growth. Okay, so again, trust your intuition, because it's going to bring about some opportunities, but you need to recognise and control your fears within that. Okay, so there's definitely a nice learning and growth opportunity coming your way, number 1. So let's put number 1 over here. These 2 puppies back in the deck. And let's see what number 2 has to offer today. Healing. Okay. Let's see what else we have to add on. Some patience and decisions and choices. Okay. So guys, what the cards are talking about today is the healing aspect of this card is what I'm drawn to. I do want to say to be mindful of health as well. I'm drawn to both areas on that card, but I want to stay with the healing just for the moment and talk about the fact that when we make a decision to start moving forward, when we make a decision to begin our healing and forgiveness and all of those kind of little bits and pieces, it does take time, okay? You do need patience. You will have triggers. You will have a week where you're feeling really positive and strong and you're like, yeah, I got this. And then you wake up Monday morning and everything will be back to square one, okay? And that's normal. That's normal. And that's all the cards I want to point out, is that when you do make that choice to start letting go, to start moving forward, to let healing come in, it is a roller coaster. And don't be hard on yourself through that. Don't feel like, you're not able to heal. Don't feel like, you're doing something wrong. Don't feel like, just don't feel negative around it. Just have a little bit of patience. I've had post-traumatic stress syndrome myself in life. I've had a lot of experiences where I guess I did need time just to heal from them, and when you feel broken, it's very easy to start being down on yourself, start feeling like you're not capable of pushing through. And this card's really a beautiful, gentle reminder that you do have the strength, you do have the resources, and you do have the capability. You just need a little bit of patience. So when we talk about decisions and choices where it's falling in on the end, again, that's where I want to stay with it. That's there. It's a choice. It's a decision. Am I going to keep getting back up, or am I going to let myself knock down? Am I going to keep getting back up, or am I going to knock myself back down? And you probably ask yourself that question 10 times. But always make the choice to keep going. Okay? You've got a choice here to begin the healing. It's in your hands at this point. And so give that some thought, give that some consideration. And again, keeping it in context, that healing might be monumental or it might just be something small. One thing I do run into a lot, I have people say to me, I know that people are struggling worse than I am. And I always say to them, you know what? Yeah, but that's not relevant. It's not important to us right now. What matters is you and how you're feeling. And it doesn't matter if somebody else has struggled worse or less or anything else like that. It's how you're feeling, how you're coping. Okay, so again, a little bit of food for thought around for you guys for number 2. All right. And number 3, let's see. Cruising along, taking your time. Jump cards. All right, let's see what else. Release. All right. Ooh, okay. So the message that I get out of here, cruising along, taking your time. I've got a giggle because I know it's not relevant at this point in time, and it'll be probably the only time that it's not. But this is the one card in the deck that seems to be very specific as far as when it pulls out, people go, oh yeah, I'm going on a cruise. It's a funny card, that one. But, today I'm focusing on cruising along. Then you've got the release card, and then you've got the not likely find another way. And so I want to give you guys a little bit of a kick up the bum today for number 3, because what I feel the energy of these cards is telling me is that taking your time is actually delaying your journey. So I ask you today to reflect on where your areas of procrastination are, where your delays are, what you've been putting off that you could do today. All of those kind of little bits and pieces, because you've got the beautiful release card in the middle, and that always talks about that sense of freedom, that sense of release that comes from accomplishment, from letting go, from finding peace, harmony, from feeling like we're connected into ourselves, all of that beautiful energy. It's a release. It's a step into our own true sense of freedom. Okay. Now, when you've got the not likely find another way card sitting there, they're showing me you're kind of halting this journey a little bit, okay? And so today, definitely the focus is on this card. And it's taking your time. Don't rush through because we get a crappy result at the end. But also, I want to say, don't take too much time. Now isn't the time to be jumping onto a magical cruise ship because there's no real ones around. But you know what I mean? It's just not the time. It's not the time. The time is now for action. The time is for attention, not procrastination, and everything else like that. And so if you find, that you've been running into brick walls but trying to create this release, again, just sit back and have a look and just really be honest with yourself. Check your behaviors, check your self-sabotage, check your fears, all of those kind of little bits and pieces, because you'll generally within that find the reason why this isn't coming about. Okay, so again, just in summary, number 3, just take a moment to see the actions that you're doing to move forward. If you're running into, that energy that's just not shoving you there, as I said, a few things need to be shipped and shoved around, okay? Shipped and shoved around, because that's what's wanting to come in, all right? So, number 3, number 2, and number 1, okay? Trusting intuition, allowing the healing, and just checking ourselves on our path along the way to make sure that we're doing everything for ourselves that we possibly can. But also, as I said, just to remember to have some patience through there, okay? Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. So thank you very much for joining me today, everybody. It's been a pleasure to read for you once again. Again, if you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you did. Elizabeth Bratcher, Psychic Medium. You can also find me over on Facebook. And I will be doing a couple of lives this week as well, and would love for you to join me there. Take care, beautiful people, and have a beautiful day.